Hi, everyone. It's time for me to clear my throat and say video games. Oh, I got a little thing in my throat. Hi. Hey, everybody. Welcome to my live video game stream. It's time. We're going to be playing some classics. Some classics of games here. Secret of Mana. I want to share with you this game I loved as a child. It's called Earthbound. Earthbound. Anyway, Earthbound's fine. The people who like Earthbound, maybe less fun. Hey, what's going on? It's time to we're gonna do some stuff with some video games. I got this box in the mail the other day, from PlayOn, which is that's the one of the Embracer companies, right? No, so they're involved with this thing somehow. Yeah, it's a PLAION, PlayOn. Anyway, I guess they have teamed up with Atari, the new Atari, to re-release the Atari 2600 in a new package they're calling Atari 2600 Plus. I kind of like this idea. I don't know. They like I got I got an email from someone saying like, "Hey, do you want one of these Ataris?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I totally want to take a look at one of these things." The idea is because you can use the real cartridges, which is something I don't really give a fuck about most of the time, but something about an Atari 2600. It also will apparently take 7800 carts. So I'll have to I wasn't able to get my cartridges out of storage. They're in the storage locker, but they sent over a handful of their, like, it comes with a 10 game cartridge, and they sent over a few of their other more recent releases. There's like an updated version of Berserk, which is a cool idea. But I don't know, like, it makes me want to just buy an Atari flash cart, I guess. Which is my first thought. Or, I can get my Starpath supercharger out of storage. We could be loading games off fucking cassette tapes all night long, baby. That'd be sick. Let's take a look at this thing. I'm just gonna grab it. They didn't send it in retail packaging, so like, maybe I'd be like, here's a unboxing or whatever, but it's like it's a fancy little box that they sent to people that they sent this thing to, so whatever. It's an Atari. It's smaller. But it this feels like a pretty good recreation of the original 4-switch. They should do different variants of it. They should be like, we're making Vaders, we're making heavy Sixers, we're all the other weird things that that the Atari 2600 went through over the years. So difficulty switches on the back. This is how I remember the 2600. I never had until years later. I never had 6 switches, any kind of 6 switcher. 2 cartridge ports, HDMI port here, USB-C port for power here. Pretty straightforward. Standard controller. So I guess the idea here is, you can use your original controllers and cartridges and stuff like that, which, you know, the I guess the reason why that sounds appealing, I'm trying to parse it out, because like I said, that initially immediately sounded appealing to me, and I'm the guy that's telling you I hate using cartridges. So, but I think for me, the difference is that, like, I don't know, hooking up an Atari 2600, an original one, is a pain in the ass. You know, you're getting RF. You're either modifying the unit to spit out RGB, which is valid, or you're hooking it up to an RF switch and then hooking that up to a VCR and then hooking a VCR up to a capture card, and then, you know, like the process is garbage. You can get I bought a bunch on Amazon and then never used them. But you can get it is basically an RCA jack to coax, and it's supposed to replace the entire RF splitter switcher thing, where you just plug the cable into one end and then screw it into the VCR. I've heard that those work okay. I only wanted one, but they would only sell them in like bags of 50. I should find those. I'm hearing a noise. I'm just going to make sure I got my camera over here looking at the kids. Got to make sure my daughter doesn't wake up, because, you know, these nighttime things here. This feels nice. I don't know. It's a decent weight for the size. It doesn't feel overly light. It feels substantial, I guess is what I would say, without feeling overly heavy. There's been a lot of Atari flashback consoles and other weird stuff over the years that, you know, has leveraged the Atari stuff. And a lot of it has been trash. Like, just feels cheap. So I guess, you know, for what it's worth, like, I actually like build quality and the feel of it in the hand. I'd say it feels pretty nice for whatever that's worth. I'm going to try and, well, the switches are, yeah, I mean, you know, hey, your select and reset switches bounce the way that they should. It's a little stiff. The color black and white switch and the power switch are very stiff, but like a good, like, chunk feel to it that I kind of dig. I guess, you know, hey, I gotta say, initial impression is that this is kind of cool. So I'm going to try and hook it up, and then, well, I'll pull out the rest of the stuff first. It's a joystick. This is their new version of the original Atari joystick. Feels okay. It feels a little stiff, but this stuff is brand new. I wonder if I yanked this rubber cup off, if it would be the same weird white shaft underneath. I'm not going to do that, because you always end up a bunch of fucked up Atari controllers. Decently long cable. So I think generally that's what comes with the unit is, well, you get the cartridge. You get this 10 game in one cartridge. Oh my God, I didn't realize that it was a 10 game in one cartridge like this. Wow. So it doesn't have like this isn't going to have like a menu or something. Instead, it's got dip switches on it. And you flip the dip switches into different positions to select the game you want to play. That's a very, I bet this would work on a real Atari 2600 then, wouldn't it? This is kind of awesome, because it looks like a fucking bootleg. It looks like a bootleg 10-in-1 cartridge, because it's got this bank of dips on it. Like, that's nuts. What does this have? Adventure, combat, dodge 'em, haunted house, maze craze, missile command, real sports volleyball, surround, video pinball, and Yar's Revenge. That's not a terrible selection. The thing only comes with one controller, and combat is the shits to play alone. Surround, I don't think you can play alone. I don't think it has a single player mode in it, so that's not great. Video pinball, I love it. It's garbage. I love it though. Yar's Revenge is a classic, of course. It's already set to adventure, so we're just gonna leave it there. And yeah, Maze Craze. Does Maze Craze have any kind of single player? Like I don't. Anyway, fascinating. And it's a little. I don't know if when they sell them, I don't know if this is how they ship them or if this is something they did custom for this mailing. But the little sleeve for the cartridge is a really weird touch. Of like, they didn't want to do full boxes, and I get it, but they did something that at least like resembles a real box. And then it comes with they sent a QR code for like, hey, if you want to read manuals for these games, because combat has like 60 modes or whatever, and you're not going to know what the fuck you're doing. Then go read it on the internet. So I don't know. I assume that's how it works when people buy it. I don't know if it's I don't know if they did a printed manual for people that actually buy it or not. I'm guessing they did not. But all right. Well, we'll start with this. We've got that cartridge. We also have a set of paddles. They're selling these separately. How do these feel? Yep. That's a very. I haven't felt a paddle this tight in my entire life. Every time I've gotten a hold of a paddle controller, it's been a loosey, messy disaster. This feels nice. Feels precise. Anyway, if you remember, maybe you probably don't, but paddle controllers come two at a time. And there's only one plug to plug in these two controllers. So if you have like a 2-player, like which well, let's see what a cartridge comes with these when you buy it from them. And this is a 4-in-1 cartridge with Breakout, Canyon Bomber, Night Driver, and Video Olympics. Sure. And similarly to the 10-in-1, this 4-in-1 also has some dip switches on it. Since it's Atari, it's going to be their games, right? But like, I'm going to have to go. Well, we'll see. If we like this thing, then I'll go get my cartridges out of storage. If we hook it up and it's butt, then maybe not. But I just want to play Kaboom. And I would assume that they would eventually sell Warlords separately, because Warlords is the one game you could sell separately. But it'd be nice if they did new printings of the Activision cartridges. Maybe that's something, hey, do a deal with Microsoft to get Microsoft's David Crane's Pitfall out on this thing. But also, hey man, you want a Pitfall? You want you want some Atari tapes? The shit ain't expensive. For the common games, that stuff still hasn't gone up in value for just, loose carts, if I remember correctly. Let's double check. Or just you could buy a flash cart. Also, the innards of this thing, they have a compatibility list on their website. There are a few games that don't run on it, and one of them is Super Cobra, which I'm kind of bummed out about. But the rest of them, So yeah, I don't know what the innards. I assume it is running an emulator that they did not go and, it's not some fancy FPGA based Atari solution. It's probably just Stella in there. Though I think I would imagine Stella could run Super Cobra, so I don't really know. Dropping stuff on the ground. And what else? Oh. They also sent over Berserk and Mr. Run and Jump, which you might have remembered I streamed the Steam release of Mr. Run and Jump, but they also made a 2600 version of it. It's like a different game, but the same concept, I guess. So I'm curious to try this out. And Berserk, I think they added voice to it or something. It's like there's a homebrew version of Berserk that adds some stuff to it, and I think that they got that and put that out. I think that's what this is. All right, well, I'm gonna try and hook this thing up. This is nice. These little sleeves are nice. It's nice. Okay, I unplugged my Switch, which uses a USB-C port connector for power and an HDMI for video, and hopefully I can just plug this in where that was and everything will work. We'll see. I'm going to stand up now. Okay. Now let's see. I need to set this to port 3 on the old HDMI switcher. Let's turn this thing on, see if it works. I'm far enough away from it for it to be a hassle. Will it work? First try, hooking it up. Hmm. Let's open up the capture software and see if it sees it. No signal. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll switch the power out for the power that came with it, just to make sure. Okay. Looks like we're in business. Though the PlayStation 5 appeared over there, which is very curious. Also, this can't be. All right, let's take a look at it. I'll show you what I'm seeing here. This should not be a wide screen. It's coming in 720p. Huh. Yeah, is there a switch? I'll check and see if there's a switch. There we go. Okay, so there's an extra switch on the back there for that. I guess I need the controller, huh? Let me switch this monitor over. I hope there's not a lot of latency coming through this HDMI splitter. I'm trying to play Adventure over here. All right, now I just realized I have to reach over and hit the game reset button to actually play. I wanted to go the other way first. Speed runs shot already. Yeah, okay. All right, drop the sword. Get the black key. Go over here. No, sorry. Go this way. The bridge will be right here, so we can just go over that way. Open up the castle. We don't need the black key anymore. Get the fucking chalice. Go down here. All right. Then go over here. And that's Adventure. The whole like the Easter egg room and all of that other stuff. I never had it down on how to do that. I never really had that stuff dialed in. I remember I tried it once or twice and just never. I like trying to follow the instructions for it. It was just like, what do I do here? All right, let's. What other games are on this 10 piece here? I mean, we should probably look at combat, even though it's not really. Okay. Combat is dip switch 1 down. I love this. Is so janky. I actually really love the way that they're doing this. The dip switches on the card is so it feels so bootleg. It feels so illicit. The Atari logo on the front of the unit lights up when it's powered. Oh, look at that. Okay, yeah. It gives you a little Atari logo there. What loading game? 1.0. What are we, firmware updates? Jesus Christ, man. Tommy Tallarico was right. Look at that. Yeah, Psych is asking, I assume you can yank the card and it'll keep playing. That's a good question. We'll try that in a little bit. Yeah. Let's get over there. That's right. Get fucked. Outlaw should have been on this collection. I love the way the bouncing bullets sound in this. I always have. Just always did. I forget what the difference in these, but yeah, you know, it's the thing. Like, you put in the cartridge and it's got, you know, 60 variants, and while some of them are easy to see when you are looking at it what the variant is, sometimes it's like the tanks turn invisible when, you know, when the tanks only appear when you shoot. I suppose that's obvious too. Invisible tanks, baby. That's right. And then, by the way, it's got planes too. Like, what? You know, I'm saying it's value for your money. You can slow down, you can go fast. 3 speeds. What more would you need? You see the bullets curving as we turn. I think that's something that you can, you know, different variants will have that or not have that. Three little planes versus one big fucking honking plane with a giant bullet. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Look at this big plane. Look at when you turn this big plane, look at the mess it looks like, and you're like, what is that even supposed to be? What is a big plane? Are you okay? The answer is no. Big plane is not okay. Yeah, big plane. I love big plane, but you know, the 3 planes shoot 3 bullets. Now you got jets. That's fancy. Like, these biplanes are for kids. What about jets? The thinking man's airplane. Now we'll try yanking out the cartridge while it's on and see what happens. It did not like that. It did not like that one bit. Now I wonder if I put a cartridge back in with it turned on, if that's something that it is built to accept. Oh, these dip switches are so small. It's weird. It's weird to have a fake little weird Atari that has a loading cartridge screen on it. This is Missile Command. This is not a great version of this game. You know, a lot of arcade ports. In this era. You know, what are the great arcade ports from the 2600? It's Mr. Dew's Castle. That's pretty much it. You know, I've never owned, I have one, but I never hooked it up because, you know, just the pain in the ass it is to kind of hook up some old hardware sometimes, but I've never really messed with a real 7800, but I have a bunch of real 7800 games in storage, and this will apparently run them, you know, for as much as it looks like it's 2600. They're like, hey man, what if we made this run 7800 games? Wouldn't that be fucking weird? And they're like, yeah, I mean, you know, you could just do that. It's not... want to play Ninja Golf. We should let them. Close. Alright. I'm done playing Missile Command. Good God, man. Yeah, you know, this. I think part of it is, you know, the paddle controller, also helps justify real hardware because, you know, that stuff's not well emulated on a lot of other platforms. So, again, conceptually, I really like this. Assuming it's accurate, you know, like, you know, I'm not, like I said, there are a handful of cartridges that do not run on it. But this thing had a version number on it when we turned it on, so I wonder if they'll issue firmware. How do you do a firmware update for this? They sell it on an Atari cartridge? Do they, you know, there's no US, as far as I can tell, I don't think, other than the power port, I don't think there's a USB port on this thing. So, 9-pin to USB adapter. God, what, yeah. gonna buy the firmware cartridge and then plug it into a real Atari 2600 and then, oh, power port to PC. Right. Yep. That's a really crazy thing to do with a consumer device, but yes, I suppose that would work. It does not say the end when you lose in this one, and that's unfortunate. Let's see. I always liked the idea. Again, I loved the idea of surround, but it because I like the Tron light cycles, but and the other issue you kind of run into here is that, Superman is a licensed game. And so it's probably never going to appear on, but, well, fuck, how much could, a copy of Superman for the 2600, I bet is not a lot of money. All right, I'm on the left, and yeah, no one is on the right, so I don't know if there's a game type that is actually single player or not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I think this is just a drawing mode. If you hold down the button, it doesn't draw. Modes 2 and 4 should be single player. All right, we'll try that out. Yeah. So the left player is making moves, but do I have to put my controller in the other port in order to play single player? What the fuck? Let's try game 4. Yeah, same deal. It doesn't want left controller. AI can only play on the left, apparently. Well, I'm not going to do that, so... Okay, now if we go on, off on the dip switches. Loading game. It's just funny. It's just funny to see. I don't know. Okay. Now it's time to enjoy video games. The controls on this are truly diabolical. You push left on the joystick to hit the left flipper. You push right on the joystick to hit the right flipper. And you push up to do both. And if you hold down the button and move the joystick, it will nudge the ball around. But if you do that too much, it will tilt. Sometimes you would be on a TV with a really fucked up RF connection, and getting that thing in the middle that makes the screen glow all of a sudden would also cause a bunch of static. That was pretty cool. Like it would go for a second, and so that was me nudging the ball a little bit. I don't know if you saw the ball kind of dragging a little bit, but ugh. That's it. That's all our balls. We're out of balls. I have spent hours of my life as a child playing this game. Hours. And hours. It's pretty good. I mean, for what it is. For the time. You know? No real complaints. I think you look at it now, it's fucking insane. Like the layout of this table is ridiculous. When you think about what a real pinball machine looks like, there's the flippers at the bottom like that. It's just real silly. Let's see here. We'll play maybe 2 or 3 more games on this and then look at the other stuff. Gotta hit these dips. They can't all be Pinball Quest. You know? What are you gonna do? Dodge 'em. This is classic arcade game. I feel like it came out under a handful of names from different companies trying to do similar things, and if I remember correctly, but we think of it as Dodge 'em. Uh-oh. We crashed. Now this game is fucked. This game is some straight up bullshit. And my reasoning for saying that is that when you die, it resets all the dots. That's just straight up bullshit. Fucking dodge them. All right, we'll play 2 more off this one. I love how janky the Tendon 1 cartridge is. I love that it has dip switches. What a fucking insane idea. What an insane way to pull this off. All right, now we're gaming. Yar's Revenge is it's just a classic. We're gonna smash the quotiel. This is some hard sci-fi. We got this weird dashed line chasing us around. That's no good. We've got this mystery neutral zone here. We can't shoot while we're in this interference. And we want to touch it to get our missile on the left side here. And then we push the button to send the missile. We're going to do a full send. And then this happens. And then oh my god. We got lit up. And, every other level, you get one level of static kind of base and then one that moves like this. Keep you on your toes. And we don't have to, bash every single block in the base. We can, as long as we can touch the glowy thing, we can make the missile appear. Oh, but as I was making the missile appear, it went into shoot me mode, and then we died. Nope, that's not going to cut it. We'll wait for him to shoot, and then we'll go get the job done. For America, or Space America, whatever. For space bugs everywhere. Alright, you fuckface. Suck on it. Boom. Yeah, pretty mind-blowing explosion effect for its day, for 1981 on a home console. I think even this little barrier in the middle here of multicolored garbage looks pretty fucking incredible. For what it is, Ugh. There we go. And as you play, things get faster and thus more difficult. That dash is chasing us around much more quickly now. For my money, this is one of the greatest games on the platform. Oh, killed myself with my own missile. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's got sick sound effects. I think just the aesthetics on this game are tremendous. Come on, fucker. There we go. Oh, look at how fast that fucking thing's moving now. Oh, man. Oh, was that the... Okay, that was my last life. Okay. Let's play Haunted House, and then we'll move on from the 10-game-in-1 cartridge. I barely understand Haunted House. I did not own it back then, so I just never, and every time I encountered it, I was like, and it was never with a manual. And so I think I have finished it on its easiest difficulty, but like almost by mistake. Okay, so it's dark. That's why we're just a set of eyeballs here. We can hit a button to, I guess, light up things. We found some items. Oh, we built a chalice of some kind. There's a bat chasing us. There's a ghost. That's bad. Oh, I can't have both. Well, I want to get this and leave, don't I? Isn't that the whole point of it? Isn't the whole point of the game to get... Oh god, the bat. But yeah, isn't the point to get the... There, we did it. I got the trophy and made it out. We win. And I can still move my eyes. But yeah, and then, more difficulty settings for, more involved areas and everything else. Same as Adventure, really, in a lot of ways. Sort of, as you go through the different difficulties, you get a more complex area and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, people love this game, I don't have the nostalgia for it, so it's one of those games that just never made much sense to me. And that's that. Let's before we hook up the paddle controller, why don't we try the other two joystick cartridges first? Reactor, was that for you? Says Rad Jago. Man, what's not to understand about Reactor? You're inside a reactor. There are cooling rods on the sides. There are chambers that you can use a decoy to lure the positrons or neurons into the chamber, and when they bump around the chamber, you get bonus points. I mean, it's self-explanatory. What the Jesus Christ, man. All right, let's try Berserk. Look at this. One game on a cartridge. Ooh la la. So fancy. This other one has 10. Alrighty. Yeah, I'll have to pull my Atari game. Well, whatever. I've got 9,000 different ways to play Atari 2600 games. I just bought one more today. When my Steam Deck OLED shows up, the Atari 2600 games have never looked better. Okay, so I think this is not just the standard Berserk that was released. I think this is some kind of updated version. So far, this doesn't seem different, except I don't remember the explosion noises being so delayed after you shoot them. Okay, there you go. It has voice. Is that the only voice sample? I mean, yay. It's an Atari 2600 talking to you. That should be impressive on its own. You normally can't shoot diagonally? On the original? Man, I don't remember that. I remember being able to do that. But hey. And the colors are more arcade accurate. That makes sense. Okay. This was a great game. In arcades, Evil Auto was legitimately terrifying, and I think here on the default setting, maybe we don't even get Evil Auto. I agree. I agree with Grandpa PP, who says, I like the way the enemies look. The robots in this look so fucking good. With their little rotating eye sensor thing. Like, they're so good. They're so good. That was always my... Oh, Grandpa Junior. Oh. Yeah. They kind of look like peas from this distance. What if it was Grandpa PP? What if have you considered changing your name? All right, yeah, you consider it. I need to get back to the optometrist. I seriously do. Because the glasses I got were really great for... Oh, I've said it before, but the glasses I got were really great for going outside. But who the fuck goes outside? I'm trying to read monitors and play Berserk. The cool thing is that the robots will you can lure them into doing that. You can lure them into shooting each other. Oh! Ooh. Does it feel like you move too slow? I mean, that's where the danger in this game comes from. Also, if I remember correctly, you see that line that how there's a bit of a gap between your head and your body. I think bullets can pass through that without you dying because it doesn't technically count as a collision. Humanoid must not escape. Okay, got the intruder, got the chicken. It has more than one line. This is pretty good too. I'm saying if we bass boosted this, it would be a fucking ripping fucking noise fucking track. We could do some cool shit. This seems like a great proto-Robotron game, but this may have been released before Robotron. Yes, this was... Berserk was originally released, I believe, in 1980. And Robotron is like 81. 82? 81, 82. 82. Yeah, so we eventually get to a point where they can only shoot one bullet again, but they shoot fast bullets. That's kind of how the difficulty progresses. But these idiots will still just walk into a fucking wall. Listen to that. It's good. I appreciate that, you know, that someone took the time to add some voice samples to it, because that is such a key part of the arcade game. But having the same one every single time is maybe a bit...
Fat. The video is fat.
And yeah, that is the big problem with Berserk Recharged. I mean, Berserk Recharged is not great. It misses the whole point of what makes...
Cocaine speaking.
And don't forget the Joker!
Plenty of cash.
By the master.
Woo! Post Malone. Woo! Post Malone. Woo! Post Malone. Woo! 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 Woo!
It's a pretty good game. And I think this version of it's fine. Even the original, you know, unmodified game that they shipped back then on this platform was a pretty solid version of the game for its era. All right. Oh, these diagonals. I just keep getting extra lives. I gotta stop. And And then, yeah, there's a sequel to this game called Frenzy that was also in arcades. There are a couple, I want to say there's maybe like a ColecoVision version of Frenzy. It's not super great. Frenzy's a weird game. It's a weird sequel. You can blow up some of the walls. You can shoot your way through some of the walls. Let's see if it has another voice sample for when you fully run out of lives. Nope. Oh, that wasn't my last life. Okay. That's neat. Now let's play a new game. This came out on PC this year, and there's also this 2600 version of it that they made. This is Mr. Run and Jump, which is a pretty decent little PC game. You know, or it probably came out on consoles too. But, you know, like a decent little kind of post-Meat Boy platformer type thing. Can you send me weird energy drinks from your country? Absolutely. I mean, if you don't have to, but hey, you know, the mailing address is somewhere below me on Twitch here. Let's try Mr. Run and Jump. Oh, my dog ran away. Great classic jump noise. That is the same story from the PC version. Your dog runs away. Whoa. I love the idea that, like, hey man, we can't draw two of these spikes on screen at the same time, so it's just going to be really flickery. Ooh. It's actually, in some ways, difficult to deal with. A ladder. This changes everything. An evil skull. An eviler skull. A skull and a spike. 3 enemy objects on screen at the same time. This is unprecedented. You know, this has a good number of screens in it and everything for, you know, for the platform. Kind of cool. Ooh. Good little skull. Oh man, all the way back here, huh? Dude. Wow. The idea that I'm now blowing this jump every time is really bumming me out. Okay, let's get back there and see if we can time it properly. Well, even when they turn invisible, they are still indeed there. The flickery. I mean, hey, that's the 2600, right? It can only put so much. It can only put so many things on screen at a time. I'm like trying to move, but it disappeared on the way down, so I kind of lose track of it. But I don't feel like if I fall that way and then immediately bear left, I still feel like that thing is going to hit me. But is the sprite flicker as bad on the TV? Yes. I mean, these are all monitors at this point. It's not like one of them's a CRT. A CRT maybe would. There we go. Whoa. Can I jump on that? Oh, no. Oh, fast skull. Fuck you. Fuck you. Oh, man. I think the PC version of this is a little better. It's cool that this exists, though. All right, we're going to do one more of these and stop. Oh, what am I doing? All right, Mr. Run and Jump. I'm gonna run and jump to the bathroom real quick, and I'll be back in a sec. I will return. All right, 1 second. 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 1 Bop, bop, ba-dup, bop, ba-dup. Okay. The last of our Atari tapes for the evening is this 4-in-1 paddle cartridge with Breakout, Canyon Bomber, Night Driver, and Video Olympics. All right, we'll switch out for the paddles here. Where did I put the paddles? What the? I'm very confused. I have found them. Yeah, no warlords. No warlords on the cartridge that comes with the paddles, because I'm guessing they know that they can sell warlords separately. They know warlords is the game. And yeah, if they ever get the ability to re-release Activision games, Kaboom would be tremendous. This paddle feels so tight. I have never felt an Atari paddle this tight and precise. It's scaring me. How good this feels. Maybe it could be a little looser, honestly. Just getting this paddle across the screen. Now, if I get a snack adapter for my Mister, I can plug these into that and use it to play Atari games, including Kaboom. You know, Breakout's a classic. What are you gonna say about it? You know, what are you gonna say about it other than, well, it's no Arkanoid. Oh, you hit that upper half of the blocks, and you get a big speed boost dumped on you all at once. These tones come out of the speed. No, these tones came out of the TV. You know, Atari and a lot of other companies made a bunch of dedicated devices that just played Breakout and other kind of Breakout knockoffs, and a lot of those would have internal speakers and junk like that. But the Atari itself, man, I'm playing like fucking trash. Oh, came in too hot. So I imagine this plays Breakthrough. I don't know why it just went out. That's weird. I went to go change games and it rebooted on me. Let's see if that happens again. Now I'm curious. Did we find something broken? Oh, so you see I kind of get a little bit of ability to steer the ball on hit in this mode. which is very weird. In this mode, we can catch it. All the great Arkanoid power-ups, except for the gun, just came from variants of Breakout. All right, Enter Statsman has laid it out. Game 9 is the one we're looking for. It's great noise. Okay, Breakout. Let's try some Canyon Bomber. I don't know if I remember Canyon Bomber all that. Okay. Like, I remember I know what Canyon Bomber is. I just don't remember it being a game you played with a paddle. Okay, so I'm the top. Oh, I guess I'm not always the top plane, huh? It looks like turning the paddle doesn't do much in this mode. Maybe that's, maybe you get some speed control. But maybe, yeah, okay, maybe not. Maybe it's, if you remember correctly, there's a game almost exactly like this in Arcade Paradise. A game full of knockoffs of arcade games of this era and so on. I lost 285 to 384. Okay, so now we're setting the range of our bombs with the paddle here. Which is interesting. I'm playing fucking terrible. I'm doing a terrible job here. I like the idea. But also I'm awful at it. I'm gonna see if maybe one of these modes let you kind of steer the shot or something like that, but anyway, that's Canyon Bomber. Night Driver. The shits at Night Driver always want. I wonder if my Atari Jaguar controller adapter for PC would accept a paddle controller and let me configure it to play Kaboom on a PC. I actually did buy a spinner controller not that long ago. I should bust that out one of these days. That works fine on the Mister. It's good for Arkanoid and games of that ilk. Nothing is happening. You know, HDMI handshaking or something. Who knows? Well, now it's no longer. God damn it. I don't know. Probably need to pull the power on my HDMI splitter and plug it back in. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it sucks. It's a really useful device. And sometimes it sucks butt. That did it. All right, here we go. Oh. Playing this with the intended controller is really nice because after years of emulating it and trying to play with an analog stick, it's unplayable. You got an Xbox 360 controller and you're trying to, like, no, fuck that. Oh. Night Driver. I'm fucking hammered. 9 cans of strong zero. Oh. 47 points. Suck it. We need to bring scores back down to earth. We need to chop some of the zeros off these fucking scores, man. You know? Relatable numbers in scoring. That's my platform. 47. How many points did you get? I got 9 million. You know, pinball machines fucked it all up for everybody. How many points did you get? 47. And then Video Olympics. We'll play a little bit of that. Video Olympics is funny. Game 4 for random difficulty. All right. This doesn't seem that different. I don't know if the difficulty changes on the fly or if it just gave me the easy one randomly. A lot of cars out on the road tonight. I don't know why they're all honking at me. I'm driving on my side of the road. $70 points. 70 points. 7-0. All right, Video Olympics. Video Olympics is another one that is meant to be played with 2 or even 4 players in some cases. It's Pong, but it's also a lot of other stuff. They got it in their head that like, man, we can... What if we made basketball, but with paddles? Like this, they had a volleyball. Here we are. So I don't think they ever actually put out a game called Pong on the Atari 2600, if I remember correctly. I think Video Olympics was basically... It was Pong and it was a billion other things. And so a lot of those dedicated Pong machines you would get that would maybe play Pong and maybe play Breakout would also play some of the other variants that are in here. Oh, that's right. They called this Pong Sports in some, yeah, like the Sears versions of this were called Pong Sports. Got to capitalize off the brand. It's on now. So if I hold down the button, I can heat it up. Which is not a normal Pong feature. Game 2 is Pong Whammy. So it looks like if I have like some limited control over the ball. Where if I am holding the button when I hit the ball, maybe I can steer it a little bit for a second. Yeah. Oh, so if I hit the button, it changes the angle, or you know, it kind of makes the ball a little more extreme. Like that. Was it 12 points to win? Come on. Slipped. So this is meant to be 4-player. You can see the dashed lines paddles down there are really kind of meant to be, you know, player 3 and 4, so you can play doubles. Here you can kind of play singles or play doubles by yourself, sort of, kind of. And this is, you know, what is this? Hockey or soccer? I'm sure they would call it one of those two things. Almost more of a foosball kind of. Great. Well, that's that. It's going to be stuck there forever. So this thing's out tomorrow, I guess. I don't know if they're putting it into retail stores or anything like that, or if it's just going to be one of these online order-in type things, but how much? That's a good question. I have a piece of paper over here. It's thrown in on the top of this box that I think says $130. Yeah. $130. Launch date November 17th. They're selling it on Atari.com. So I don't know if, I don't know if there's a retail or if it's on Amazon, or I don't know what the deal is, or if it's just through Atari. Maybe you can get some crypto currency while you're at it or whatever. They're remaking the jackets. I got an email. They're remaking the members only jackets that they did in the 80s, the Atari jackets. And that's cool. Like, for as much as Atari has been a shit-ass company for a long time, and as much as they are still kind of doing the weird crypto thing on the side, they just don't like to talk about it a lot. This thing's neat. The Atari jacket is cool. It always was. flips. So that's hopefully they're hopefully they're on the right track. Hopefully Atari is gonna treat that right and not mess that up. Yeah, they bought Moby Games in the Atari age, which is super weird. But yeah, we'll see. This thing's neat. I don't know. Like, so I like it as a thing of like, I have a bunch of Atari cartridges, and I oftentimes want to know if they work, because some of them I got years ago and never tested, and all that sort of stuff. And this seems like a good easy way to just make sure that all those cartridges work, if nothing else. But the idea, you know, I don't know, like an HDMI Atari 2600 with like pretty good compatibility. They have like I said, they have a list on their site on the store page of like games they tested that don't work. And there's a bunch of homebrew stuff that they didn't test. I'm really I would be curious to know if the supercharger does work with it. I bought a supercharger years ago off eBay, and it showed up and it was sealed. Like, the listing did not make a big deal. This is in the 90s when I bought this. I bought a StarPath supercharger in the 90s, and it showed up and it was fucking sealed, and I was like, what the hell? And so I was afraid to open it. I was like, man, it was a sealed supercharger. That's nuts. And so I still have it. It's still sealed. And for those that don't know, the StarPath supercharger was a cartridge you plugged in, and then it had a headphone jack on it, and you plugged the headphone jack into your cassette tape player, and you would buy games on cassette tapes and load them like they were computer games, you know? And because they were loading in, they couldn't, in some cases, they were more graphically complex than the average Atari 2600 game was at the time. I later bought a CD that had not only all of the supercharger games on it, but a bunch of just regular ass Atari games that they had encoded to load on a StarPath supercharger. But my supercharger was sealed. Looks like John's saying the supercharger games are not compatible. That's a bummer. Yeah, that is a bummer. So, you know, some compatibility issues for some of the more esoteric stuff, but you know, if you're looking to play the vast majority of official Atari games, it seems like they do load just fine. So that's good if you have them already. Now I got to look at prices. Now I got to see. Well, I can load up my collection page here, and that will have all the prices in one spot for the games that I care about. But let's look at eBay for Superman for the Atari 2600. $5.50 with 4 days remaining. $10.99 or best offer. So $11 for a copy of Superman with the manual. That's reasonable. Well, I think it's reasonable. I guess I would say. Because I like Superman for the Atari 2600. That's I don't think that's a hot take, but some people can't handle it because it's so action packed. I have a copy of Combat 2, which is a prototype that they never released, so I'd be curious to see if that runs. Similarly, I bought a homebrew or whatever copy of Elevator Action. Apparently I have a copy of MASH. My copy of MASH is not new. My copy of MASH is loose. So let me... Loose copy of MASH. How much does that go for? $7. So, if you want to be called a ferret face by a video game. Yeah, copy of Kaboom is like $6, you know. River Raid looks like it's 11. Pitfall looks like it's 11, which is sort of, I would not think that would be that expensive. ET is $8, which is a little high for my taste. Let's see here. Video Pinball, a new copy of Video Pinball in box is $85. I'm pretty sure mine is loose. Actually, no. I do have a sealed copy of Video Pinball now that I think about it. There is one of those out in the garage. And I do have Warlords. Looks like new copies of Warlords are like $25. So loose copies, I'm sure, are way cheaper. So, you know, you can get away with, you could get away with acquiring a decent little Atari 2600 library for not that much, as long as you're just looking for relatively common stuff, you know? And of course, once you get past that, then you get into weird territory. I think, I imagine, let's go to price charting real quick here. I'll tell you, how much is a copy of Chase the Chuck Wagon? That was always the game that people said was super expensive. There's a copy on eBay here for, $1,100 new, $725 complete, $115 loose. If you want to chase the Chuck Wagon, and you don't, because it's not a good game. You want good games like Porky's. There's a Porky's game for the 2600. And there's a bunch of porno games, like Beat 'em and Eat 'em, which is not a good game. Custer's Revenge, also not a good game. I wonder if those are compatible. I don't think those were on the list either. I don't think they included the porno games on their list. Copy of Porky's loose is $13. Porky's sucks. Porky's is terrible. River Raid is fantastic though. How much does a copy of Custer's go for these days? 140 loose, 235 graded. Yes, I need a sealed graded copy of Custer's Revenge. For academic reasons here. Yeah. The sexy stuff. They're not on the list at all. So that just, so maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. But I don't know. My inclination is to buy a flash cart, which those do exist. But it's like, it's a situation where it's a dude making them and you got to PayPal him to get one and all that sort of stuff. But that's like so much stuff in the retro scene these days. That's actually not that weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's I think the 2600 is cool because it's fucking crazy, you know? It's like ever so slightly, like it existed before I knew what video games were. So it's like ever so slightly before my time. By the time I got my hands on one, it had been out for years. Pitfall was available, like, all the greatest hits. And so it was like something that you come to with like a large collection of games already, as opposed to like getting one in 77 or whatever and being like, I don't know, we can play Combat. And yeah, so I don't know. I like the 2600 because the games are oftentimes so fucking abstract, because the graphics are so crude and weird, and you have that A-Team game where it's just Mr. T's head moving around. Like, what the fuck is going on? They made a game based on the TV show MASH. That's like fucking just conceptually weird. The G.I. Joe game is, oh man, we're gonna look at the G.I. Joe game. We don't need to play it. Yeah, there's an Indiana Jones game where you use one joystick to play it, and the other joystick just controls your inventory. Like, you select which item you're using with the other joystick. Because they were just trying shit. And I like that about the 2600. Like, the quality is all over the place, because, when we talk about the video game crash in 83 and everything, it was because of all the garbage games coming out for the Atari 2600. But like when you return to the scene of the crime and look at all this shit, like I remember playing Indiana Jones as a kid and finishing it. Like I had the patience to like go like, okay, I get the other joystick and I need to select the whip, but now I need to select this, and now we need to do this snake thing, and then, you know, it's just a bunch of weird shit. All right. So this G.I. Joe game, we're not going to play it. Oh, God. Help. But we are going to look at it. Where did it go? Look at that fucking snake. And you know what's cool? Is when you're playing 2-player, you get to be the fucking snake. You get to be the snake. Don't get no cleaner than that. Like it was like player 1 is moving this barrier down here and then using these guns on the side to try to shoot the snake. But you as player 2 in a 2-player game get to be the motherfucking snake. And it shoots tiny lasers out of its fangs. And then, well, here. We're going to... I can't be the snake because I'm alone, but we'll... And so I can control the path of these bullets when I shoot like that. I probably need to get out of level 1 before it uses its super attack, but the super attack is worth the price of admission. Well, like, you know, there's other Atari games. Like, I look at that. Did you see that snake fucking blow in half? Did you see how that fucking snake blew in fucking half, man? Also, I think that the Empire Strikes Back game is one of the best Star Wars games maybe ever made. Like, it looks so cool for its day. And did you see that snake fucking blow in fucking half? Now look at how aggressive this one is. There. Did you see that shit? That snake has laser eyes. Now I know what you're thinking. I can't let him shoot the Joes. There's also a constant drift on this thing because the analog stick was not centered or whatever the hell happened. So it's like none of it is calibrated correctly. Shoot your shot again, man. Come on. Let's see if I can block it with my little thing. I did. Anyway. I just wanted to say, look at that fucking snake. Look at that fucking snake, dude. Do I like the Popeye game? Yes, I did. Was there a 2600 version of that? I mean, I'm thinking of the arcade game. Well, I guess there is. I mean, I like the arcade game quite a bit. This version may be a little less so, but let's try it out real quick. This is, you know, this is fine. This is not an amazing version of this game, but this is okay. I mean, it plays okay. For all of its single color characters and all that stuff. I wonder if it has all the levels, or if it's missing the boat or something. All these bottles getting thrown at us. Bluto over here. Brutus. Alright, it's time to smoke this motherfucker. We smoked that motherfucker. Can I name all the Popeye nephews? Isn't it Pip-Eye, Pup-Eye, and Poop-Eye? There's 3 of them, right? The thing with having a new baby in the house is, oh man, it's fucking got hit with that bottle and just fucking warped out. The problem with Popeye, and this is how I feel about every version of the game, is that the first level's really good, and I think the other levels are, the layout of them is a little overly complicated for their own good. Peep-Eye and a Poop-Eye? Is there Peep-Eye and Poop-Eye? Anyway, the thing with having a new baby around the house again and changing a lot of newborn baby diapers is a constant fear that I am going to fuck up and give myself pink eye. But yeah, I like this game just fine in the arcade. But like I said, I think that these other levels are not nearly as good as the first one. The first one feels really well designed, and then I think everything after that is kind of not great. There's also the Popeye game that teaches you English. It was released in Japan on the Famicom. But I think, you know, well, we'll just do one more here. I think this Star Wars game is fucking sick, man. I think this Empire Strikes Back game is just crazy. I always have. I remember getting my hands on this and just being like, holy shit, look at how cool the ship looks and how fucking fast it is, and the AT-ATs look all fucking crazy. Look at how fucking fast you go. And you kind of turn on a dime and you... Oh, we got smoked. I can land and heal myself here. Oh, the port is open. Like, if I get one shot in there, it'll kill it. But, oh, man. And so they keep constantly marching forward. If they get all the way to the right side of the map down there, then you just lose. But this game is fucking nuts, man. Yeah, I mean, if it had llamas in it or something instead of all this Star Wars shit, maybe that'd be something cool. But it's also just really hard to hit those exhaust ports sometimes. I think there's a difficulty option that... Oh, this is the easy one to hit. Oh, man, it closed. Anyway. I just think the speed of movement here and the sense of speed from the, you know, this kind of like parallax scrolling that it's doing is, like, especially for the time, fucking nuts. And so, look at how fucking you just rip past these fucking dudes, man. It's crazy. There's an easier mode that makes it so their heads, you can see the heads move up and down. Let's see, their heads will move up and that'll prevent you from hitting the weak spot when it opens up above their head. And if you turn that off, then it's a much easier game. I'm pretty sure that's in there. I'm pretty sure I'm not making that up. Is this better than Shadows of the Empire? Absolutely. Shadows of the Empire is fucking garbage. Here, hold this bullshit controller and play the fuzziest looking game you've ever played. Ugh, yuck. And then occasionally the Force is with you, and you just glow for a bit. You don't even pick up anything. It's just like, oh, I don't know, man. I remember thinking Shadows of the Empire was cool, and then you get like a few levels in, and I remember being like, I don't want to fucking play this anymore. Holy shit, I'm done with this game. Anyway, this game's cool. Was the PC version of Shadows of the Empire any good? It was, you know, it was pretty rough because, you know, 3D hardware and all that stuff at the time was maybe not what you want it to be on PC. Anyway. Yeah, that's, you know, we're not playing these on the Atari 2600 Plus, but you know, for 130 bones, a thing that plays Atari games and has like good, you know, good new versions of the original controllers, I think that's pretty cool. Like I said, you know, there's just sort of a, you know, I have all these cartridges that I haven't played in the real cartridges in decades at this point, because I have the means to hook up a 2600 to, you know, I've got the VCRs and the scan converters and all that sort of shit, but like, I just like, man, fuck this. I'm just going to emulate it. Stella's amazing. Stella's amazing. Apparently Stella is inside this thing. So, you know, hey, good enough for actual Atari. It's neat that Atari's making new cartridges too. Like, that's crazy. And the whole thing is just kind of crazy. that they're doing any of it. That any of this is happening, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll grab my cartridges out of storage and try them out. I'm curious to just see if that stuff still works, and you know, having good paddle controllers just always makes me want to play Kaboom. So pressure cooker. I don't think I have pressure cooker. I have a game called what is it? Space Attack, is that the game I'm thinking of it's like a really shitty game, but I do love it. And then I have a bunch of 7800 games. I have Joust, Real Sports Baseball, Donkey Kong Jr., Asteroids, Centipede, Hat Trick, Ms. Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Xevious, Donkey Kong, Robotron, Desert Falcon, and Pole Position 2. And I have never put those into anything, so I don't know if any of them work. Some of them are still sealed because I bought them out of the cave. When the dude was selling Atari games out of the cave, I bought a bunch of games and ended up leaving them sealed. Mega Silver says, I wonder how well the 2600 Plus works with homebrew games. I saw someone on Twitter today saying that the Stacks works, which is the Ready Player One game that I guess Mike Micah from Digital Eclipse made with the Ready Player One guy. That runs on it. So I don't know. I'm sure it's like your mileage may vary depending on the game or whatever, but how much weird bank switching stuff it uses or whatever the hell. But it seems very possible that more games than the games listed on their official compatibility list work. Ricky and Vicky. Yeah, there's some really interesting 7800 homebrew. Someone made a platformer starring Bentley Bear from Crystal Castles. The game, not the band. That seemed kind of okay. From the demo that I got my hands on. But yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch of weird homebrew and prototypes that have been prototype cartridges that have been pressed as homebrew. So if you want to buy a copy of a prototype that you can play on real hardware, you can do that. That's how I have Combat 2, like a numbered copy of Combat 2 that they sold at some retro convention or something. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a neat device. It seems largely compatible with the official releases or the kind of what we think of as the standard non-porno games. So yeah, I don't know. It's neat, and but at the same time, weirdly enough, if they put out a new Nintendo, for example, that ran real cartridges and all that sort of stuff, which plenty of people have. I have a couple of them, like an AVS and some of the other cool, like they're cool, you know. But it never felt like, oh, really, you know. And I have Analogs NES, their FPGA based NES, and I have their SNES as well. And nothing about that feels the same way that this is. Yeah, the NT Mini, no, the metal, it's made of metal. It was expensive, but it's not the one they were making from actual NES parts first. It's the FPGA one. I never, like, none of those ever made me feel the same way of like, oh, I've got all these, I can play the real cartridges or whatever. But there's something about, I don't know, is it because it's actual Atari, quote unquote, doing it? Is, maybe that has something to do with it. Is it because, I think part of it is because the paddle controllers are really hard to emulate without just having a good set of paddle controllers, and having a good set of paddle controllers is not easy to do. And now they're making new ones. So I suppose you could just go buy the paddle controllers from them, and it comes with the 4-in-1 cartridge or whatever. I suppose you could just go buy those and then use something to hook them up to a mister or whatever and do it that way. Yeah, that's see Bakun in the chat saying they had this Popeye cabinet at the roller rink by my house growing up. Bluto is essentially the devil in this game. Bluto was in the Popeye video game. Bluto is a motherfucker. Like sometimes he'll just be like, and he doesn't really do it on the first level that much, but sometimes he'll just be like, "Fuck you, man! I got bottles too. I'm gonna stop running after you and just be like, fuck you, throwing fucking beer bottles at your head, asshole." And you're like, "I'm just a sailor." Jesus Christ. I can't get it out right now because it'll make too much noise, but I bought some art. Someone made, so if you don't, the original story was that Donkey Kong started life as a Popeye game. That Nintendo had the rights to make a Popeye game, and originally they started making a Popeye game, and eventually, couldn't get that part of it right, and so it turned into Donkey Kong. And I don't remember the name of the artist, but this artist made a version of the Donkey Kong cabinet side art, but replaced Donkey Kong and Jumpman, and Pauline with Bluto and Popeye and Olive Oil. And it's fucking neat. And so I bought that and got that all framed up. I wonder if I'm going to very quietly try to get it. If I wake up my children trying to show you this art, I'm going to be really fucking bummed out. Yeah, so I bought that. It's cool. Josh Merman. Okay, yeah. Thoughts on the Popeye movie? It's weird. I remember seeing it as a child and being really confused and really I found the Popeye movie is creepy. I found the Popeye movie as a child to be very unsettling. Everything about it made me feel wrong inside as a kid. Disturbing. Like there's just something about it that just never, like it creeped the fuck out of me, man. And I often think I should watch the Popeye movie again because I haven't seen it since it was in theaters. But I'm terrified of the Popeye film. So, Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I saw it what year did that come out? What year would I have been? Oh man, I can't even type the word movie. Popeye Oovie, whatever. It figured it out. 1980. So I was 5. So as a 5-year-old, I went to go see the Popeye film. And yeah, all I remember of it is, you know, being some mixture of bored and terrified. Terrified is probably the word. Of just like, there's something about everything about this is really messing me up, man. Everything about this, I don't. It's freaking me the fuck out. I'm fucking scared over here. I like Popeye. He shows up. He's got a battleship on his arm, and there's this animated tattoos, just like Moana. Yeah, I don't know. Popeye's fucking the movie. Well, whatever. I'm not telling you. Like, did you know that the Popeye movie is weird? But yeah, I remember being very not like long term freaked out by it, but like I remember finding it very unsettling at the time and being very uncomfortable. I remember that movie, the music, like everything about it tonally, just it was very unsettling. And I have not gone back to watch it since. I'm sure I've seen bits and pieces of it coming on, you know, flipping through channels and it's on HBO or something, but like I don't try to watch Popeye. I should. Yeah, the water looks dirty in that movie. Everything looks dirty in Popeye. Which makes a lot of sense. I don't know. It's yeah, I don't know. It's anyway, it's creepy. It's creepy. I think I'm gonna get going. Popeye's a weird property. Everything. You go back and watch the cartoons from, you know, the 30s or whatever they were. Well, all the way through 30, you know, whenever they started making them to when they kept making them, all the years of fucking weird Popeye cartoons. Like Popeye's just a fucking weird thing. And remember at one point there was when Jeep showed up, the weird genie guy, and it was like there was a space alien or whatever the fuck's going on. Like, Popeye got fucking weird. Anyway. Yeah, there was that game that came out on Switch. That Popeye game that came out on Switch is abysmal. It's amazing how fucking terrible it is. It's like illegal. It should be illegal to make a like anything that fucking it's fucking rotten. It's really, really rotten. Anyway, I'm gonna get going. I have to put together a list of Nintendo games that we can play in the morning. So 10 a.m. tomorrow, about 12 hours away, should be back, and we will play another batch of 8-bit Nintendo games. Maybe I can give you a little tease here. I know that there's some list of, that's not what I was trying to do. It opened Microsoft Edge. I'm never trying to do that. Okay, I have a blank slate. I have a blank slate of games. None of I don't have anything picked out. So I will go to Patreon and I will look for some comments from people to pull another batch of games. That's patreon.com/Jeff Gerstmann. If you care, if you want to give it a look, throw some money into the nightmare engine. Keep this devil machine trucking forward. And I will pull another batch of 7 or 8 games, and we'll get together and rank them tomorrow. We have 109 games on the list. From Super Mario Brothers to Circus Caper. Oh, Circus Caper. I'm going to go put on a Circus Caper, a tool assisted speed run right now and see what's up. And I will see you in the morning, unless you're not watching this live, in which case the video for the Nintendo stuff is probably up now. Go watch episode 15. That's what we'll be recording tomorrow. And I'll see you then.